Welcome to the Inspection Empire Builder podcast. On this episode, we're going international all the way to Australia. You don't want to miss it. And welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you tuned in today. Today we have Adam Liddell all the way from Australia. Adam, how are you doing today?
Good, Matt. How are you? Doing well.
Good. We were just talking about the time zone difference and how it's early morning there and it's mid-afternoon here. And so thanks for getting up early to come join us on the show today.
And then got out of that and then got involved in water damage and mold restoration for a few years, which then led me to sort of broaden into the full property inspections because we were seeing a lot of issues around mold and water that were really building defects.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. And so in the States, we call it a home inspection. What do you guys call it there?
I'm technically known as a property consultant or a property professional, or the qualification is a registered building practitioner with a domestic builder unlimited license, which essentially means I can build up to 3-story homes.
Okay, a building practitioner. I like that.
Yeah. It's a bit the property inspection industry in Melbourne particularly is unregulated, so there's no license requirement, but you just have to be insured. But with some of the contracts on sales and builders you deal with, they want to see that you're a registered builder.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, you've got some level of education or training to be able to be qualified to speak into this area. So it sounds like you have a little bit of parameters. Is that right?
No, that's it. The only time that it actually comes into play is when there's an offer made in a real estate contract. Mm-hmm. And one of the conditions is that a registered builder or building surveyor or architect identifies a defect on the property. So it becomes a compliance requirement in a particular contract.
Oh, so if they don't say that in the contract, then anybody can inspect it?
An option, yeah. So at the moment, we have an industry like what you started. We do have other states in Australia, particularly Queensland, where there is a license and you have to be a registered builder with 5 years experience and 5 years of construction projects. And then you've got to sit another course. But in Melbourne, Victoria, where I am, it's largely an unregulated industry. And look, and I'll say that just because you've got a builder's license doesn't mean you're a great inspector. Just like if you've got it doesn't mean you're a great builder. And there are guys out there that do some great inspections, but just haven't got those building qualifications.
Well, it's the same here. People have a inspector license. That doesn't make them a good inspector.
Yeah.
Well, I just drive down the road. Like people got a driver's license, but they're not a good driver, you know?
Yeah,
so that's kind of true probably in every industry.
Yeah, so a lot of the business that we have built over the years is through network and reputation and referrals, because you educate them and people understand that, so they tend to tell friends or colleagues. That's where a lot of the calls come from for our jobs.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And so you're getting into this thing. So from the United States perspective, right? So, but what I've found is that in the United States, home inspection's a big industry. It's very common. Everybody pretty much gets a home inspection on a house. Not everybody, but it's pretty commonplace. And other parts of the world, it's not as commonplace, and the industry is in its infancy stages, whereas in the United States, that industry is a little bit more developed. What does it look like in Australia? Is it in a developmental stage? It sounds like do a lot of houses get inspections during the purchase process, or is this like a newer thing to your area?
In 2025, we do. When I started back in 2017, there was some statistics around that was 20 to 30% of people got property inspections. That's really increased. And again, because, we've got, TikTok and Facebook, and there's a lot more publication of all the horror stories.
Yeah.
And people kind of are better educated. We've also, with the construction industry in Victoria, it fluctuates because we get spikes in volume of work, which at times is not the best because, you've got newer trades. So there's a lot of horror stories from bad building. We tend to see a lot of issues in the home inspections around wet areas like showers, balconies, those type of things. So, yeah, so people want to get inspections. Yeah, there's a lot more need for it, but I guess that also relates into the spike in, guys that don't necessarily have the qualifications to do inspections.
Right. And okay, so I got another question for you because this is all new to me, right? So in the United States, we have all these softwares, we have tools, we have like InterNACHI is a great training organization. There's other trade organizations, but almost everything that I see in the home inspection space or the property inspection space is US based. I don't see, but I'm also not looking for it in other countries. Is globally looking now in Australia, are there home inspection softwares and stuff that are based out of Australia, or does everybody kind of use a US based software product or tools and stuff?
Probably Australia based. There's not a lot using US products. And they tend to be, there's a couple of good ones around, and they tend to be, there's one or two that have been created from the insurance providers, because it's important that when you're doing a report that it's compliant to any insurance requirements. So the insurance providers have some there, and there's a couple of other smaller ones around.
Like what kind of software do you use there?
Well, it's challenging because I've had to dive into the US systems, and we've got some issues because of different rates, different telephone numbers, even accounting software. We have a different tax system, so it's been difficult to marry that with the US systems. So there's a couple. I use a local service provider called ServiceMate, which is a great little sort of CRM that we run the jobs through, from inquiry from websites, can issue quotes with pre-inspection agreements, can change statuses in the jobs, right through to invoicing, and then collect data. That then can push over to your MailChimps for sort of a bit of marketing, sort of that type of thing. Yeah. So there's no one size fits all, and that's one of the challenges working for myself, is getting through the daily slog of dealing with inquiries, inspections, writing reports, and then going, how do I make a system work? Well, you do your 2x2. That's you find time, you schedule your time to do that. Mm-hmm. But the other challenge is, Matt, is the rabbit holes of technology. Like you get onto an idea, or you look at a system and you put all this time and effort into going, I think we can make it work, and then you get this hurdle, like I said, the US, Australian, numbers and rates and those type of things. So you just keep looking, keep finding, you keep refining, you make time. And look, from talking to you, if you don't work on your business, you don't evolve. So you just make time. It just,
If you don't work on your business, you don't evolve. Is that what you said? That's actually brilliant. Yeah. And when it scaled to this point where it's like, okay, what do? I got to the crossroads where I think every solopreneur does. And it's like, okay, do I hire more people and start bringing on a team of people, or do I raise my prices to slow the work down so that I can handle and manage what I'm doing? And, I wrestled with that kind of that fork in the road of what do I do? Do I want to stay as a solopreneur? Which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with being a solopreneur. It can provide a phenomenal life for you. And I think success is your business doing for you what you wanted to do for you. And so, yeah. So I kind of was like, do I stay solo and maybe start raising prices to slow work down, or do I build a team? And I kind of wrestled back and forth and eventually decided, let's build a team. And so at that point in time, I was realizing I have to start building out systems and processes and pathways to be able to make this work. And
so I'd say to anybody that's starting, and you touched on it too, we all started doing 2 or 3 a week, 5 a week, and then we get a couple a day. Put your time and effort into that process and charting your process from when the phone rings till the website gets clicked, how that flows through your business. Because as you get to that point as a solo, inspector, time is your biggest commodity. So anything you can do to reduce that with the click and, the automation will come into play as you get, if you want to stay doing, on your own, that's fine, but you need to have that time. And then if you want to expand, you also need that system to bring those guys into that environment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're right. The system and being able to sit down.
After ask questions, put the questions into CRM, send quote, and it does help you visualize and go through the system. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you got to spend the time to do that. Like you said, like when you're saying, like, you got to spend the time on the front end. So it doesn't, like, you need to have a good report. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, like you say, the systems are the things you just kind of just do naturally, don't think about. Back up, write it down. So that way, when you hire somebody, you're able to give them the framework of what they need to do. And that takes time. Like you said, the hardest thing is the time. And I think on the front end, before you're super busy, that's when you have the time. That's when you should be doing that stuff. Yeah. And I think, to today's technology, AI can help you do this as well, where it's easy to go, you can go open up ChatGPT or whatever AI platform you like to use. And you can say, I need to create a system and process for the person that answers my phone. And you can just talk to it like randomized and say, help me put this together, right? You can have a conversation with the AI and it can create a workflow for you that has the bullet points of here's what you need to do, here's you navigate this. And as you read through it, you go, oh, I need to refine this and change this and make sure this is all the right way. But AI makes it a lot easier these days. You can just kind of like data dump onto your computer and it comes back to you with something that is easy to communicate and share with people on your team.
Just to round off what we're saying is, do it when you're only doing the 2 or 3 inspections a week, and your life will be better for it once you get to that 2 or 3 a day.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Because once you get 2 or 3 a day, you don't have the time to really. So, I slept and worked for years to be able to get this thing going. And it cost me a lot. It cost me a lot to do it. And, ultimately I ended up going through a divorce and all that. And one of the contributing factors was I was a workaholic and I slept and worked and I didn't pay attention to my family. And so I lost it, and there's other factors as well, but that was one, and so when you have the time early on, do the work, spend the time, get your systems and processes in place so that later on, when your back's against the wall, you're not like burning the candle on both ends trying to get this thing running again. Right. And that's like something great advice that you're giving right there.
Because one of the things that you've got to look at, and we all as humans go, we want to make money. It's all about a big bag of money. All right. That's what we want. Yeah. You actually need to sit down and go, how much do you need and how important is your family? And one of the reasons I stayed as a solo guy is to give me flexibility around family and a child. So I think it's a really important balance that, on the back of once your systems are there, don't put yourself in a position where you're overworking because, I don't really know your personal circumstances, but you're an example of what can happen. You've chased the big bag of money, big business, and really you go, well, it hasn't quite ended up the way you were hoping.
Absolutely. And I'll be the first to admit it. And I've admitted, I say this often. It's like, I was doing it under the guise of I'm doing this for my family. Like I'm doing this. I'm chasing this money and this career because then I can provide better for my family. Every time you look at somebody's funeral, they're like, were they there for their kids? Were they a good husband? Were they a good father? Were they good to the people? Like your legacy is people and your legacy is how you're treating people and caring for people. And it's not about money. And I think when we're here in the moment, it's easy to chase the bag of money thinking that that's what's going to help your family. But your family doesn't want the bag of money. They want you.
No, and as property or home inspectors, you guys call it, we have such a great structure. And
so now here I am. I have a multi-inspector company, right? We do, our multi-million-dollar business that's got people running around and it's a bigger company now. But one of the values of our company is a work-life balance. And so we've empowered all the inspectors that work for us to be able to take off time and they don't have to request it. And we the way our culture works is, our guys get paid a commission split. They get paid by the job, depending on how much work is there. So they're getting a commission on the job. And so we set it up in such a way that like, if you want to take Friday afternoon to go hang out with your kids, you don't have to ask anyone.
No, that's what you should be doing. That's
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to ask anyone. You have access to, we use Spectora, to our Spectora calendar. They have the power to block it out. We teach them how to do it, and they can go and block out their schedules. And so we tell them, if you already have inspections booked, too bad. Like those are booked for you. So, but we don't book more than a week or two out. So if you and your spouse and your kids, you want to go on vacation, or your kid has a sports game or whatever it might be, just jump in there and block out the time. You don't have to ask. Your kids, your spouse, your family are most important. And so they make very good living. They can control their schedule, and they're able to do that. And we talk all the time like, hey, keep the balance, don't just chase the money because you'll lose your family. And I tell them all the time how I lost mine because I was so preoccupied with working all the time. And that's one of many factors, but it was one of them.
Yeah, well,
don't do that. Don't lose your family.
There's not many industries that you can do that. So
right,
you can make
there's not many.
Get your process. It's a good industry.
Yeah, and be there when your kids have sports events. Be there when your kids have events in their life. Be there and take time, take holiday, take vacation. Take your family to the beach. Take them camping in the mountains. Go do the things. Yeah. That's what we're here for. We don't live to work. We work to live.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
And you're off at the beach or the mountains.
Yeah, that's booked. Right. I'm at the mountains with my kids, and that's more important than your home inspection.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. So what are some of the challenges that you're facing right now as a solopreneur? You're busy, you're booked, you're working on things. What's next for you? What are you thinking where are you headed next in your career and your business right now?
Well, it's funny. So probably one of the biggest challenges or roadblock at the moment, and again, you look into it. It's the new inquiry management and the customer relations, which are really important. But we've got a peak time here in Melbourne, which is sort of spring. It's our busy time, and I've got a scenario where I've got a lot of clients that are not just booking one inspection; they're booking 2 or 3. Because they're worried about missing out on, if they miss out on property A, then they've got the inspection done for property B or C. Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's different. I like that.
Challenging. And then there's also been a lot of panic around knowing that inspection guys are busy. So they're booking in and then maybe cancelling or holding or ringing. I think yesterday I had 3 jobs that pretty much wanted inspections today. It's like, my bookings are out to the middle of next week. So that's one of the challenges. With new construction, which you haven't really talked about, doing the stage inspections, coming up to the Christmas holiday period, the builders are all pushing the stages forward because they want to try and get payment before their office shuts over the holiday period. So all of a sudden you're getting a phone call saying, oh, it's reached a lock-up stage. Can you come tomorrow? It's like, I can't. The drywall's going in, the following day. It's like, can't give me a day's notice to get out. So that's probably one of the challenges around inquiring and scheduling. But that's more probably a seasonal peak.
Yeah. So are you considering hiring people and expanding that direction, or are you going to stay solo because it fits your lifestyle better?
Well, back to the family. So when I started inspections, it was all about having time for family and my son. He comes to the last year of high school next year. So what I've set myself over the last 12 months has been working on, defects and report templates to get them right. We were laughing before about, I might have a defect statement for a door that's got 8 different versions because over here, the door doesn't shut, the door doesn't, is catching. So I've just been going through tidying all those things up. But the view is I'll reassess that probably towards the middle of next year, about if my systems are right, my templates are right, I've got all my procedures and policies. I may look at it then. But if I do, I think I'd be looking more not just going from one inspector, it'd be committing to, similar to what you've done, committing to the 3 or 4 multi guys, because it'd mean that I've got to step away from probably inspections myself to concentrate on running the business and generating the work.
And that's true, right? Yeah. And at about 4 inspectors, you plus your 4, you're at a place where you can get out of the field and have 4 guys in the field. And then you can be, as the owner, working on the office side, the administration, working on the systems and processes. And there's a lot of work that has to be done there in order to keep your 4 guys, on track and working. But you're right. Like, I think not just hiring one, it's not bad, but the real point of efficiency is when you get to 4 inspectors.
Well, yeah. And if you do the numbers on what you make from one guy, it really doesn't give you much more revenue than if you've got good systems to do that inspection for yourself.
Right.
And especially because, if you're not putting the time and effort into your one guy or your 4 guys, you've also got, risks that they might not be doing things properly. So you've got to step away and train them and keep an eye. So it's a hard balance. I found the same issue when I was building. You get busy on your own, you take an apprentice on or a young trainee and you sort of get him going, and then all of a sudden you need another guy, and then you're running around organising the jobs. You're not actually getting that much done, and you've got a high wage bill for 1 or 2 guys. So it's not till you get to with building. It was about 5 or 6 guys. You can make some good money. But
yeah, that's about 4 about me plus 4.
Yeah,
it made sense for me to not be in the field, to not do inspections. And there was enough profit in the company as a whole that it could sustain me not doing inspections. Because in the beginning, it's like I'm doing inspections, so I'm making that money. And then I get another guy going, he's doing inspections, and I'm making a little bit of money off of him, but not a lot. Yeah. Not enough for me to live on. But a little bit of 4 guys all of a sudden adds up to replacing my income as a solo guy, to where I'm able to work on the business from the office side. And I think that's really where that break-even spot is. And the pathway from solopreneur to having 4 guys in the field and you're not in the field, that road is a difficult road. But if you're focused and you're like, this is where I'm going, and you want to get there as fast as possible, because that stretch of highway to get to that efficiency is a rough one.
Well, that's the importance of planning and vision and doing 1 year, 2 year, 5 year goals. Because your first year, you're writing reports, as we said, and working out the system. But you've got to have that. I said, for me, it was always based around family life first. Mm-hmm. That's coming, the boy's going to have a license and he'll off doing his thing. So I'd have a bit more time, to have that vision of maybe the multi-guys, but not just yet.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But how do you find time to do that, right? Like, now you're working a lot and it's busy. So, like, back to the whole thing, time is the most valuable thing you have.
And even time, like that, being busy. I'll tell you, one of the things that I've worked on really hard, being successful, we're about to come up to our summer holiday. So it's warm. And I basically go camping for 2 weeks down at a place. I don't know if you guys know surfing, where Bells Beach is. Nice. The surf tour. We go camping down there for 2 weeks every January. And I walk everywhere. I stay out of the car. I try and stay off the phone. I try and stay off the computer, because the mind needs to slow down and shut off. And that is where some of my best planning for the year coming will happen. And I might not do anything, but just take some notes so that when we're back into, the everyday of it, you've got some fresh ideas, because it's really important. I don't know how you found it. From home inspections, people don't work business hours. If they want to buy a house, I've had calls on Christmas Day. They're ringing 10 o'clock on Friday night, 7 a.m.
Yeah.
So find some time to shut off and clear the mind, and you'll find the way through.
Yeah. Well, the real estate industry here in the United States is the same way. Yeah. Realtors are showing houses at 6 o'clock on a Saturday night. Yeah. Because that's when the buyer's available to go look at the house, because they have a job or whatever. So 6 o'clock on a Saturday night, they're looking at the house. They're putting in the offers. They might get accepted at 7 or 8 o'clock at night, or whatever it might be. And so then at 8 o'clock at night, they're thinking, I need to get a home inspection. And so they'll try calling, and they'll call you at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night. You got to set those boundaries. And so I learned that real early on, how the industry worked. And so I started setting boundaries earlier and putting together online systems and processes for booking. You can book online now on the website, and training people that you can book an inspection at 2 o'clock in the morning if you'd like to on the website. And but putting some of those systems and processes in place to be able to, do that. And it builds out to where it gets scalable.
Because if you think that you're going to be doing what you're doing in January that you've done in October, November, and December, you're going to be disappointed because the market's not there. So make that your time to have those couple of weeks away, whatever it is, go camping, go on holidays, go to Costa Rica or, wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
That's just as important.
I 100% agree. Yeah, that is. It's very important. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man, it's been like really good having you on the show, and even comparing some of the differences between Australia, United States, but some of the similarities as well, man. So I imagine there's people listening that would love to get in contact with you, ask you questions. Like, what's the best way for someone to get a hold of you?
Best way is jump on our website, reddogpropertyinspections.com.au, or you can shoot me an email out at reddog@lidman.com.au. So it's reddog@lidman, lidman.com.au.
Absolutely, man. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been a delight having you here.
Okay, good on you. Cheers, mate.
Thanks. Bye.